Hello, this is Troy Eckard. I am the CEO and President of Eckard Land and Acquisition as part of our ongoing educational platform to try to inform our partners about how the mineral rights market works. I'd like to touch on one subject that I get asked quite a few questions on, and it kind of is an integrated question between title and ownership and the revenue cycle. How do I get paid and how much money do I get and how does it work? So let me walk you through in about 5 minutes exactly what we see and how the process works. First off, whenever we look for minerals to acquire, there's a whole series of different variables that we're looking for before we ever identify the actual physical mineral. What that means is we're looking for who the oil company is, the success of wells and the trend, the 3D seismic, the geology, the basin. So there's a whole lot of what I call 30,000 foot elevation type of subject content that Eckard Land and Acquisition uses to say, in this area, we want to go buy minerals in this particular section of land or this particular township. Once we've identified the area of focus and concentration, then comes the actual acquisition. We have decided we want to be in this township, this range, in this section of land, underneath Continental's brand new well, and we start contacting mineral owners and start identifying not only who owns it, how much they own, but we also start identifying what we believe to be the market rate and what we're willing to pay for those minerals based on all the information we have. Once we've decided to buy a particular mineral under a specific mineral section or block, we then start the process of letting the seller know that we have to run our due diligence and we have to verify ownership. So what Eckard Land and Acquisition has done, and we continue to do, is we have 2 professional landman companies in the state of Oklahoma and Oklahoma City. And what these are these are certified professional landmen, and for the oil and gas companies, all the way from Exxon down to Ma and Pa Kettle Oil Company, their job is to run title. They take that mineral owner who is willing to sell Eckard Land and Acquisition their minerals, and they do what they call running out title. And they take it all the way back to the land grant days, and they say from title to title to title, whatever time there has been a deed recorded transfer of title, they track that to make sure that the individual who is claiming to own the minerals, in fact, has the right to those minerals. They're not encumbered, there's no liens, there's not anything in recorded public information that in any way dictates they do not own the minerals they represent. These are professional land companies. This is everybody. This is what Exxon uses, this is what EOG, Marathon, Continental, this is what all the big boys use. We actually have used the same companies as many of the majors use for our own land services. This has been done for as long as the oil and gas industry has existed. Now, you as an investor who are participating with Eckard Land and Acquisition in the minerals that we've already bought and paid for, you're getting the benefit of all that work and all that title and all that work done behind the scenes in the courthouse to verify that title. Now, let's talk about how we validate that we're going to actually own what we own and we're not going to have a failed title. So as we close and Eckard Land and Acquisition buys those minerals, we then record in the courthouse that we are the new owner. We make it public record. That's one good foothold on establishing ownerships and rights. The second thing we do is we notify the oil company. We say, hey, Mr. Oil Company, who's leased those minerals, we're letting you know that Eckard Land and Acquisition now owns those 20 acres of minerals in this section with that well. The oil companies assume 100% of the risk. So when they lease those minerals, they pay for not only the drilling, the production, the plugging, the liability for environmental, the whole 9 yards. They also take 100% liability for revenue distribution. If there is an error in sending out checks to the wrong party, that oil company is the one responsible and liable for correcting that error. So what happens is that when Eckard Land and Acquisition buys those minerals, we then file with the oil company and let them know we now own 20 acres in that producing unit. They have in-house lawyers or they have law firms who run what they call a title opinion. Now, this is an extensive surgical operation on the land title work that goes and says, I, as a lawyer working on behalf of the oil company, am going to take every single parcel, every mineral acre in that 2 sections of land that has that horizontal well, and I'm going to run a title report. And it's done by a title attorney. And they run it all the way back to the land grant days, and that title attorney will render a title report to the oil company. It could be as thick as a yellow page phone book, and says, here is every mineral owner and all the title run sheets, and I have verified back to the original land grant days, everybody on this list owns this many acres. The oil company will not distribute 1 dime of revenue until they get that title opinion that tells every single owner, and that lawyer has put his stamp of saying it is correct and accurate. The oil company will sit there and wait. So let's say your well comes online June the 1st, and it produces the entire month of June. There are third-party oil buyers and third-party natural gas buyers who buy the oil and gas and liquids off of the wells on that mineral block. Those oil buyers and those particular gas buyers and NGL buyers will say to the oil company, send me your ownership deck with that title opinion from your lawyer that says, here's the correct owners, and let me know you own what you own in this particular property. Because the oil buyer and the gas buyer does not want to have any default or pay the wrong party. Once they get the ownership deck, the oil buyer, natural gas buyer, and NGL buyer says, okay, Exxon, Marathon, here's your check for the oil and gas sold for the month of June. Exxon then sends it to their accounting department. They then look at their ownership deck and says, do we have any minerals or any working interest owners in this well that we're not 100% sure? Nope, we have a title opinion done by our lawyer, and it says everybody on this list has an ownership, and it's based on this many acres and this percentage of royalty. Once that is all done, then they send out their checks. So we get asked the question, why if a well produces in June, do we not see a check to maybe September, October, November? Because if you are 100% responsible for sending out maybe $2-3 million a month on a single property, and you haven't verified ownership and you knew you were liable, you wouldn't do it, and neither would I. So the process is June production, get paid in July by the oil and gas buyers if ownership is verified. Oil company receives the revenue from the oil buyers, and in the month of August they start doing their own accounting and they figure out ownership is correct. They send the check out sometime in September. Eckard Land and Acquisition receives a check sometime in October. We process our checks on the 20th of every month, and your checks go out the 25th. So it's about a 120-day delay. But you've got all this oil and gas that's produced, you're owed all that money. So the fact is it's a 120-day process because why? You need to know, and I need to know, that what we bought in the minerals we've acquired are true and accurate, and what we don't want to do is take risk. I'm Troy Eckard. I am the CEO and manager of Eckard Land and Acquisition, and I thought this would be very important for you to know the back office process of right, correct ownership in mineral rights.